imagine finally going to a dream destination. Instagram photos, vacation plans, excitement. And years later, that place no longer exists. This is not a movie script. It's reality. From entire countries sinking to natural wonders, literally melting before our eyes, the world is changing faster than we think. In this video, I'll show you 10 incredible destinations that could disappear forever. And at the end, there's a bonus, a place so remote and wild that few have ever seen it, but it's also on the verge of changing forever. And now let's get started, because I can't wait to tell you. Maldives, a sinking paradise. The Maldives is synonymous with paradise islands, white beaches, turquoise water, and bungalows that seem to float on the ocean. But beneath this dreamy picture lies a grim truth. Over 80% of the islands are less than 1 meter above sea level. If the ocean rises by just a few tens of centimeters, huge parts of the Maldives will literally disappear. There are already villages struggling with beach erosion, and some locals are discussing the possibility of one day moving to other countries. For tourists, this is now a luxury resort, but for locals, it is a daily struggle against time. And when you stand on the deck of your water bungalow and watch the sun set, you realize maybe in 50 years this view will be just history. Interesting fact, the Maldives even held a government meeting underwater with scuba diving to draw the world's attention to the problem. Venice, the city that is drowning. Venice is perhaps the most romantic city in the world. Gondolas on the canals, bridges, palaces, and an atmosphere that has no equal. But behind the beautiful facade lies a dark problem. The city is literally sinking. According to scientists, Venice is sinking by about 1 to 2 millimeters every year. It may sound small, but combined with rising sea levels, the effect is catastrophic. Every autumn and winter, the city experiences aqua alta, high waters that flood St. Mark's Square and the streets around it. Tourists arrive for romantic photos, only to find themselves in rubber boots up to their knees. In 2019, Venice experienced its worst flooding in half a century. The water reached almost 2 meters. Hundreds of shops and homes were destroyed, and locals are now living in fear of whether the city will survive another such disaster. Mini fact, Italy is building a system of giant underwater barriers called MOSE to stop the sea. But the project is slow, expensive, and far from guaranteeing the city's future. Visiting Venice today is like holding an ancient painting in your hands. Beautiful, but fragile. And each sunset over the canals could be one of the last the world sees in its true form. The Great Barrier Reef, a fading paradise. If there's one place that looks like an alien world, it's Australia's Great Barrier Reef. A vast network of corals stretching for more than 2,300 kilometers, home to thousands of species of fish, turtles, and starfish. From above, you see just a blue ocean. But beneath the surface lies the largest living creature on the planet. And it's this wonder of nature that is dying before our eyes. In recent decades, ocean warming has led to mass coral bleaching. When the water gets too warm, corals shed their symbiotic algae and lose their color. More than 50% of the reef has already been damaged, and scientists warn that if the trend continues, future generations may only see pictures of its former beauty. For tourists today, it's still possible to dive among clownfish and giant clams. But even there, you'll hear warnings. Divers often show entire areas that are completely white and dead. To visit the Great Barrier Reef now is like looking at a masterpiece that is gradually fading. It is beautiful, but you already know that it is not the same, and that it may disappear. Dead Sea, the water that melts. The Dead Sea is one of the strangest places on the planet, so salty that you can't sink. You relax and your body floats up like a cork. For tourists, it's magic. You take a selfie while reading a newspaper on the water, and you feel like you've entered another dimension. But behind this attraction lies a grim reality. The sea is literally disappearing. Its level is falling by about 1 meter every year. In recent decades, it has already lost a third of its area. The reason is a combination of climate change and the massive diversion of the waters of the Jordan River for agriculture and industry. Today, beaches that used to be right next to the water are now hundreds of meters inland. To get to the shore, you often have to walk across a sandy desert where there used to be water. And in places, the ground is cracking, forming dangerous collapses and craters. Seeing the Dead Sea today is a unique experience, but also a warning that even the most incredible wonders of nature are not eternal. Greenland, the ice that disappears before your eyes. Imagine a world where majestic icebergs rise from the ocean like cathedrals of ice. This is Greenland, one of the last truly savage corners of the planet. But this ice, centuries old, majestic, unshakable, is literally disappearing before our eyes. In recent decades, Greenland has been losing over 250 billion tons of ice every year. This is not just a statistic, these are entire icebergs that break off and collapse into the sea with a deafening roar. For a tourist, the sight is breathtaking, icy fjords that shine blue-green under the Arctic sun. But as beautiful as it may look, there is also sadness in this spectacle, because you know that the ice you see today may be gone tomorrow. Interesting fact, if Greenland melts completely, sea levels will rise by over 7 meters, enough to rewrite the map of the world. The Amazon jungle, the green lungs that are disappearing. The Amazon jungle is often called the lungs of the earth, a place that produces a fifth of the oxygen we breathe. Dense, humid, full of life, from jaguars and pink dolphins to tribes that have never seen modern civilization. But the Amazon is disappearing. Every minute, areas the size of several football fields are being cut down. Fire and chainsaws are turning ancient forest into ash and pasture. And if you haven't seen it, it's hard to imagine what the contrast between the green sea of trees and the black scorched earth looks like. For the traveler, the Amazon is an adventure like no other. A boat on a murky river, the sounds of thousands of birds and insects, a jungle that never sleeps. But at the same time, it is also a warning. This paradise is shrinking year after year. Bonus fact, it is estimated that if we lose more than 20% of the Amazon, the system will collapse and the forest will become a savanna. Nearly a fifth of it has already been destroyed. Going to the Amazon jungle is like seeing the future of our planet. The question is whether it will be green or gray. Taj Mahal, beauty under threat. When you hear about the Taj Mahal, you imagine perfect marble reflected in the still waters of garden pools. Built as a symbol of eternal love, it is one of the most beautiful buildings in the world. But that beauty is slowly changing. Air pollution is turning the white marble yellow, and the Yamuna River, which once fed the gardens, is drying up. Even the structure itself is at risk. Cracks are starting to appear due to changes in humidity and unstable foundations. For a tourist, the view is still magical, rising like a dream at sunrise when the first rays of light color the dome in rose gold. But beneath that beauty lies a struggle for survival against time and people. Visiting the Taj Mahal today is still a dream come true, but if pollution continues at the same pace, this symbol of love could lose its luster. Aral Sea, the sea that became a desert. The Aral Sea was once the world's fourth largest lake, a landlocked sea with fishing towns and ports. But human greed has turned it into one of the greatest environmental disasters of the 20th century. In the 1960s, the USSR diverted the rivers that feed it to irrigate cotton fields. The result? In just a few decades, the sea has all but disappeared. Where there once was water, there is now a salty desert. For a tourist, the picture is surreal. Rusting ships stranded in the sand, as if after an apocalypse. The cities that lived off the sea are now ghostly. And yet, some people come to see this scene of extinction with their own eyes. Standing among ships stranded in the sand is like looking at a picture from the future, a warning of what happens when man pushes nature too far. Machu Picchu, the city in the clouds that is crumbling. Machu Picchu is one of those symbols that everyone dreams of seeing, an ancient Inca city perched atop the Andes, shrouded in clouds and mystery, stone terraces, temples, and paths that seem not to belong to our world. But the magic is under threat. Over-tourism is slowly wearing away this wonder. Every year, millions of people climb the narrow paths, and erosion shakes the foundations of the centuries-old terraces. Rains and climate also leave scars on the stone walls. For a tourist, the view is still breathtaking. The sunrise over Machu Picchu, when the sun illuminates the peaks and the city is revealed like a mirage. But for archaeologists and local authorities, it is a battle against time and the mass flow. That is why there are now limits on the number of visitors, so that this masterpiece can survive for future generations. Kiribati, the country that the ocean swallows. In the heart of the Pacific Ocean, there is a country that most people have never even heard of, Kiribati. Dozens of small islands are scattered across an endless blue sea. White beaches, coconut palms, lagoons like from a postcard, paradise on Earth. But this paradise is slowly disappearing. Most of the islands in Kiribati are only a few meters above sea level. The tides are already flooding entire villages, and the salt water is destroying crops and drinking water. Some islands are completely submerged. For a tourist, Kiribati is a place that seems unreal, standing on a narrow strip of land, and on both sides, an endless ocean. The beauty is breathtaking, but the feeling is also worrying, because you know that this landscape may soon disappear. Bonus fact, the government has already bought land in Fiji so that it has somewhere to relocate its population if the islands sink completely. Kiribati is a symbol of how vulnerable our paradise is, nooks and crannies. Seeing it today is a chance to touch a beauty that tomorrow may be just a memory. Bonus, Patagonia, glaciers on the edge. At the edge of the world, between Argentina and Chile, lies Patagonia, a rugged and wild land where mountains rise above endless plains and glaciers plunge down to lakes. It is an adventurer's paradise, a place that seems to have been painted by nature itself. But here too, time is working against us. Patagonia's glaciers are melting at record rates. Huge blocks of ice are breaking off and falling into the blue waters with a crash that reminds us of the vulnerability of this landscape. For a tourist, the sight is both majestic and sad. Seeing Perito Moreno, one of the last stable glaciers in the world, or Mount Fitzroy at sunrise, when the peaks glow a fiery orange. The beauty is here and now, but no one can promise that it will last forever. These were 10 incredible destinations that could disappear forever, some due to the force of nature, others due to our own actions. The Maldives, Venice, the Amazon jungle, Machu Picchu, each of these places carries beauty and warning at the same time. If you have the chance, visit them, because tomorrow may be too late. Which of these 10 places would you most like to see before it disappears? Write in the comments. I will be interested to read. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because the next video will take you to places that seem like they are from another world.